Going live now. Oh, we're live. So let's just double check. Anybody who's watching this is one of our first lives, but welcome. I'm going to make sure that we are live on the phone and then we'll officially kick it off. Yeah, we are. So we're live in the Facebook group. We're live on YouTube. We're live on the Facebook page. So hello and welcome. This is our first live. We're going to be doing a lot more lives with Credit Leverage X. We're on a mission to help people increase their credit scores, get maximum funding, and then create multiple streams of income. We got Gino Nadarov and Robert Lyon. Super excited to, just kind of be here and get this thing fired up. This has been a long time coming. We got big goals and big dreams. We've got a community, though, of like-minded people that want to learn how to, escape the rat race and basically find a better way to create financial freedom. I've had a lot of epiphanies, and Gino's kind of been through the roller coaster of finding his own success as well. I guess today we were either going to talk, mindset, personal finances, multi-leveraging or creating multiple streams of income. But what have you been kind of working on or learning lately, Gino? Whatever you want to hit on.
Yeah, for sure. I've been mostly focusing on maximizing, getting other banks that we don't usually work with, get more information, market research, understanding what new banks are coming out with extra, no doc loans, potentially no doc, credit lines for businesses. So now it's about maximizing funding, but also being able to, tap into opening up multiple businesses. So kind of doing advanced pathway for the rest, so everybody else can learn and actually gain that knowledge that I've gained. So I'll be able to share that with everybody.
Cool. This is so random, but I was learning something yesterday about, and I just want to hear if you know anything about it. Have you heard about starting a corporation and then getting funding or funds to your corporation? Is that like what we do, or is that what you're doing?
Basically, yeah. So you just basically start. You can start a corporation that's brand new. Obviously, having a new corporation, you're not as seasoned. You don't have as much documentation or proof that you're making a certain amount of money. But you can definitely get apply for credit cards if your personal credit is structured correctly. So.
Okay. So it's still connected to the personal credit stuff, though.
Yeah, your PG, you're still personal guarantee. The only way you can get out of the personal guarantee is be able to have a business that's already self-operating for multiple years, at least 2 to 3 years, and you can buy those as well. But I believe that the best way is to create businesses that actually have their own credit, that build their own credit through Dun and Bradstreet, and you're able to grow on the business side, and that way you don't have any personal guarantees, so it doesn't even affect your credit at all. Those are the ones that you want to attack, and that's what we do at Credit Leverage X. We want to minimize personal credit being affected, and essentially grow business credit and accessing other people's money and leveraging those credit cards and business loans that you can get through your businesses, whether one business or multiple businesses.
Yeah, and I think yesterday you were spitting some fire just about personal credit. You were saying like the five things that your credit is made up of, and I mean it is kind of wild that it's wild that you can create an LLC with its own business, but it all starts with personal credit. So maybe if you could hit on some stuff to either help people like get organized with their personal credit or just realize how important it is or how to do it.
Yeah, for sure. Personal credit is your foundation. Like if you don't have a personal credit, having another business or EIN number. EIN number is basically like your social security for a business. But if your personal credit is not, your social security card is not associated to a good credit history, credit score, FICO score. That's a FICO score can say a lot, but also the credibility and the credit history is very important to also make sure you have set up all your structures. You don't want to have any derogatories. You want to have less than 4 inquiries. You want to access the money that you deserve. You want to be able to have at least 2 to 3 personal primary accounts on your credit report. Authorized users are good for growing your primary residence, primary but that's not the only way. You got to be able to get your structure right, and as well as getting your all your negative derogatories. If you have any late payments, anything like that, we can help you get that cleared out, and that's going to set you up for business funding. And, and also personal funding if you want to get access to new credit cards that you may have never had before. Some of these credit cards, they give rewards. People can make money just by opening up credit cards and using them and paying them off. So there's a lot of ways to maximize your funding and also maximize your income by using these methods.
Yeah, I got the 5 factors that affect your credit score. So it's payment history, credit utilization. Can't say that word apparently. Credit mix, credit history, and then new credit. So those are like the big 5. And we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves, but it's like, why do we even care about credit? Well, we care about credit because we want to get access to other people's money, right? And then we want to turn that money into cash flowing assets. And like the more I've been really thinking about it, like just kind of like crunching the numbers and doing the math, it's like if we can get, $50,000, $100,000, and then only have to pay like $500 a month, well, we can use all that money to basically create something passively that's going to pay us $600 a month. And then we're literally paying off the debt plus making $100 of our own freaking money every single month. But then we need to do that over and over and over and over until we get, it's really profitable. And it's just crazy to, learn all about this and realize that it's just a game, right? There's rules, there's strategy, and then there's just like dominating, which is what we want to do basically. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. You want to, you can, a lot of people talk, a lot of people, they say they can do this, they can do that. There's a lot of, I guess financial gurus out there that actually, say they do things, but they may not actually do what they say. So we have to make sure that, we act on what we say. So in this situation, we have proven a method that works. And I've worked with many business owners and businessmen and also entrepreneurs that have implemented these methods. And I was doing it already on my own, but I wasn't, it wasn't called Credit Leverage X. It was, it was just learning how to leverage credit. And leveraging credit was like the masterpiece, right? But to get to leveraging credit, you need to understand, where you are and where you stand and how important it is to access other people's money or banks' money, because, it's essentially, it's an exit path from your day to day. So your 9-to-5ers that work every day, which I was as well. I was working as an engineer for many years, and I learned the game while I was working. I also invested while I was working, so I was able to get out. But it doesn't mean you have to necessarily have cash flowing assets right away to not take that risk. If I knew earlier, I would have taken the risk earlier. But the main thing is when you have that cushion, you have that access to money that you didn't have. That 50, 100K that you didn't have. Like right now, if I was to get you $50,000 to $100,000, how would that change your life? How would that affect you? And how free would you be? Like, how, I'm not saying go spend the money and just spend it on everything. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, wouldn't you feel a little less stressed out when you know you have $100,000 sitting in the bank?
You'd have the time to do the things that you want to do.
Or if I get you a $50,000, $100,000 credit line, or even the credit cards that you can use whenever you need, and they come at 0% interest on the business side, so and personal side as well.
Yeah,
it depends on where you are. But the point is, as far as your personal credit, but the point is, you essentially don't have to feel like you're living paycheck to paycheck, and you're able to kind of like, oh, well, I'm going to go to work and make maybe $200, $300 a day. What an average American makes, like, I don't know, $100 a day, $200 a day. I'm just being real, right? So at the end of the day, like, I was making, I was making top dollar when I was an engineer, over $75 an hour, right? As an engineer, that's top dollar, So it's like, making $75, that's very unheard of in corporate world. Now, there's very few people that make $200,000, $250,000 a year. That's you have to be like either a lead or a manager or something in your field to make that kind of money. But when you have access to money, you are no longer like, well, I'm going to go to work and make $200. Well, I already have $100,000 in the bank, or I have $100,000 in business and personal credit. I can leverage that and I can start investing it, and I can start making new business opportunities for myself in order to not work for someone else, or have my own income. That way, if something happens at work, there are people slow down. There's always, in engineering, I don't know how in other industries, there's always been up and down cycles. Like, it basically, whatever the government says goes. Like, if there's money, if there's no money, there's no money, right? So essentially, like if the government decides we're not going to war, we're going to be all safe and happy, the engineering goes down. During the Obama years, all the stuff went down. So then, when Trump went into office, we're all about protection. We started raising value, money started, coming in. We had a lot of work. Now I would say it's kind of like, I would say it's the opposite now. It's kind of things are coming back down. There's a lot of limitations on what's going on in the engineering field and also in the industry. So money is always controlled by someone else. So it's not you. You don't have control of your money. When you say, oh, I'm getting, I have this salary, I get this paid. That money, that salary is not guaranteed. Right. I don't care what you say. You say you feel like you're comfortable at your job. Sure. But are you the one paying yourself? No, you're not. So someone is paying you. So if that person decides they don't want to pay you no more, then what are you going to do? You're going to be like, oh, let me go find another job. Well, if we're like now in a post-pandemic and there's no work, and I have tenants that are looking for work every day that can't find work, what are they going to do? Right? Mm-hmm. So what are they going to do? They're going to struggle. They're going to have a hard time. They're going to have to change their life in a way so that way they can survive, they can eat, they can sleep. Those are essentials. But in order to have those essentials, you have to be able to create a foundation. And the foundation is very powerful, and I intend to change people's mindsets and how they look at life in general, but also their all personal and finances and how they can leverage things that they already inherently are born with. You're inherently born with a social security card. You're inherently born with the credit score. So let's work on that.
Yeah. And I kind of want to put you, it's a little on the spot. So if you don't remember, it's all good. But what was the first thing that you really leveraged your credit to buy and then actually turned into cash, and you're like, oh shit, this is going to work, or I can do this? Like, do you remember the system or like what you were doing like in the beginning?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, I did. I kind of like remembered what I used it for. I originally used it to pay off some debt. And then I was like, whoa, man, I didn't have that much money and I needed to pay off some debt. And I leveraged business credit cards to pay off existing debt that I had, accrued, whether it was school or, whether I was buying, like things that I didn't need, So at the end of the day, I was like, oh man, I shouldn't have bought that stuff, but I got to pay for it now because I don't want to mess up my personal credit. So I ended up, I worked for it. I used I used other people's money, but I could, and I didn't like to use my money. Naturally, I was always like, well, I don't want to use my money because like it's the end. Who wants to use their money, right? Their money is it's almost like, well, it's your savings. It's like that money that keeps you alive, right? It keeps you fed and keeps going, right? So it's like you need that money. So using other people's money that you can pay back in a period of time gives you the flexibility not to be living paycheck to paycheck. Gives you the flexibility. And then I invested in my first asset when I was 22, 23. I bought my first real estate property. I invested using my money, but then I realized that I had done it wrong. And then I was like, whoa, I should have used other people's money. But then I was smart about it because what I did was I leveraged when I started learning about the credit, I invested in all the repairs of the property, all the changes I did, anything that I had to fix on the property, I used credit. And using credit gave me like, oh, I can fix the bathroom, I can fix the roof, I can fix the toilet, I can fix up this whole house and not have to pay it today. I can pay it back later. Yeah, obviously there's a monthly payment and all that stuff is there, but essentially if you have a passive income or income coming in, if you're working still, you have money coming in. So you can use that money to pay off those debts while you're doing things that are improving your asset. And your asset is now your basically your income. Once you invest in that asset, it starts generating income. And my biggest change was real estate. So, I started in real estate right out of my first endeavor was real estate because I thought that was as an engineer and, high risk, I was like, I don't want to take any high risk. So real estate was like the safe bet for me because I needed a place to live anyways. I was trying to move out of my parents' house. So I invested in real estate and I bought my first house because I didn't want to rent. So that was my main drive. I was like, well, I'm not going to rent. I'm going to save and I'm going to buy a property. But the money I saved was, working at 9 to 5. I worked at Radio Shack, Macy's, Robinson's May, wherever you name it. I was working at all these places just to save up money. But then I learned how to leverage, and using leverage, I bought a house that was in a shit condition, so it's like, you could potentially live there, but it wasn't going to be like, very livable in that sense. I had to do some repairs, right? So I used all my money to buy the property, but then I didn't have any money to fix it. So then I was
Right.
like, man, I'm like broke. I was
Yeah.
like, I gotta start living like eating peanut butter and jelly for the next,
Ramen noodle nights. Yeah.
So but I was, I mean, my parents were there. They try to help me as much as they can, and I didn't want to, affect them in that sense because they're already like, living, their own life. And
So you
they
did
had,
it like out of necessity, right? Like most people.
yeah,
Just
out of
had to figure
necessity,
something out, man.
leveraging credit to improve my property allowed me to make that property up to rent level where it's rentable. It's a quality of place where somebody would want to live there. And then I was like, oh great, now I can actually take advantage of this, and I rented it out. I lived in the garage for a few months. I was like, well, let me live it. Let me. I've done things, and I've done roommate situations. I've done things that
house hacking, right, or whatever the hell it's
hacking,
called.
like whatever it takes to survive.
Yeah.
And honestly, to me, I was single. I was, no kids, no family in my own. So I was just like doing whatever I had to do to make it happen. So, and that's anybody can do that, at the end of the day. But if, obviously you have family and kids, you want to take a different route. You want to take a more strategic route. But in this situation, it was just like get in, invest, and then leverage. When I started learning about leverage, I was like, oh wow, like I was able to fix this whole property. I fixed up the entire house, roof, bathroom, kitchen, new plumbing, new brand new solar system. I mean, you name it. The backyard completely remodeled, like fully remodeled. I spent over $15,000, $20,000 back in 2010, 2009. When I bought the property, and then after that, it was like, whoa, I can't believe I did all this, and I didn't have that much money. And then I was working. Don't mind you, I was paying things off, but still,
Yeah.
now I knew the game. I knew that I could use this money instead of my own. So next time when I bought my property, it was like how many loans or how many business loans or credit cards can I get to maximize my funding in order to maximize my minimum input. So I was like, well, I want to put like 10K and buy a house.
Right.
When I say 10K on my own money, I don't want to use my money to buy a house. I'll use about maybe maximum 20% of my money will be used to buy that property. I would say 80 to 90% of the money used to buy real estate I've used is personal. I've used personal, and I've said, well, if I buy real estate, sometimes it's like I play numbers. Sometimes if I need more money, I'll tap into the personal. But usually it's the business. You maximize your business credit. You leverage the business, and then you go forward. So this is a little more advanced, but basically, essentially, you want to learn how to play the game. And the game means learning how to give yourself some time, some cushion, and not be stressed out on your day-to-day, endeavors, and start investing in assets. It doesn't have to be real estate. It could be your own business, whatever you're currently doing. If you're already selling something, if you already have a business that you can grow and scale, you could use other people's money to do it.
Yeah, that's powerful stuff. It's starting to rain here. I can hear it. I'm debating if I should drop some knowledge. I guess we're on the first live stream. It's like, do we spit all the game here?
Knowledge is mindset. I think it starts with mindset. Honestly,
Yeah.
At the end, it's mindset. So it's like, when you start, first it's like, you have to go through the struggles, and everybody goes through struggles and changes and stuff. I just think that not everybody needs to go through that. If you have people like myself, yourself, and other people that have done it before, have paved the way and have done it. So it's like, why you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You just need to. The process hasn't changed. The credit system, the banking system. As far as as long as the banks don't all close down and we have access to money, we can take advantage of it. So we should take advantage of it as long as they're around, right?
Yeah.
Then if things change, we're just gonna learn and adjust, right? So at the end of the day, it's not about whether the bank's closed. No, you can't do this anymore. No, it's about learning, adjusting, and learning how to get out of the situation, and being able to be savvy enough to learn how to play the game. And the rules change all the time. So you constantly have to be up to date. You constantly have to be aware. You constantly have to be researching, learning, marketing, learning the game essentially, and from others, as well as those that are doing it like ourselves, that are constantly in it in every day. So it's like, we play the game every day, and that's what I think matters. And some people are, like myself, I was tied up in the job, and I would be like, oh, when am I going to have time to learn about this stuff? Well, it's not about when. It's about like you need to learn about this stuff, because if you don't, you're going to be in the same 9 to 5 grind, the same day-to-day lifestyle that you've had for however long you've been alive. So however long your consciousness has ever realized your existence, until you start realizing that, like, oh, I lived this long, and what have I done in these past 20, 30, however long you live, what have you accomplished? And essentially, the goal of this is to give everybody an opportunity to make those changes in their life that they want to do, and make those investments to not have to be that way.
Yeah, exactly. And what's exciting is like, well, it's not exciting, but I'm thinking about it. We'll probably have to do another live stream on this, but it's like coming up, we're coming into like an interesting financial time where it's like, if we could make cash now and we can wait for the bottom of the market, like everything was at the top, I would say, like last year. Now it's kind of coming back down. Like if we can hit it though at the bottom, this is like the greatest time ever to have access to other people's money and to be able to invest and to start buying some real estate. Like right now we just got to stack cash or figure out a way to make a lot of cash for like when we hit that bottom, so that we can start to buy assets and have this amazing opportunity.
But this is why, this is where kind of why Credit Leverage X came out of this whole thing, is because, well, now it's the biggest generational wealth change that could potentially affect a lot of people. And those individuals that are, I would say the know-how are the ones that are going to know. It's either you know or you don't. It's unfortunately that's, it's like I've worked programs and top secret stuff that either or you don't know. There's the black and white. There's no like gray area,
like security clearance and shit.
Well, and I'm just talking about like high level stuff, like whatever. And the same thing here. It's like the game is the same. Either you know how to play the game, you understand how the game is played, you are knowledgeable, or you have the right mentors there to support you and give you the right guidance, or go figure it out on your own. And God willingly, you figure it out on time before the market crashes and you're left with nothing. So if you don't learn fast enough on your own, then God be with you. That's all I can say. At the end of the day, like this is you're gonna be dealing with people like us. We're sharks. We're not gonna let anybody fall behind us. We're gonna be the first ones to eat, right? You gotta, if you want to eat, you gotta play. We gotta be with the people that are going. So you want to follow the path. So if there's people that are doing it already, and they're already the sharks that are creating it, then other individuals that are just coming up or just learning the game, they're not even gonna even see the light of day, because by the time they figure it out, the government has already done whatever they had to do to make the changes that are necessary, and then those things are already implemented, and then God knows, your money is already lost.
Right. Definitely time to level up. You don't want to, like, the lower class and the bottom stuff is really going to fall out. Yeah, you don't want to get left behind. You're going to drown. Like the water tide's rising. Like you got to fucking get with this shit, man.
It's like, man, you better know how to swim because you're about to drown.
People are blowing bubbles already, and it hasn't even gotten hard, man.
I would say people are drowning. Honestly, I have over 25 people that pay me every month. It's my rental alone. I get, and I do car rentals as well. And people nowadays, even the market itself, you can tell what the market is doing. People can't afford the luxury cars. They can't afford the luxury places. They can't afford to live in a nice place anymore. People are living on their bare minimums, and they're literally living based on what money they have left or whatever income they're making. So, that's what it's literally there. I hate to say it, but it's essentially like it's modern day slavery. So, at the end of the day, if you're living your life as a slave because you're depending on someone else to pay you every day, you're essentially a slave. Not officially, but you're a slave to the system. The system will continue to enslave you unless you change your mindset. And your mindset has to be like, well, abundance. I can do this. I know this is possible. I can find the right mentors to get me out of this situation, because people like us, we don't have to share this information. We don't have to. We want to. This is something that we want to do. Like we're doing it because we want to. We, I'm Robert, he's over there in Arizona and chilling, having a cigar. I'm over here in LA, and having a blast. So at the end of the day, I worked hard to get to this point.
Right.
Robert worked hard for. We worked hard to get to this point. So yeah, we are enjoying the fruits of our labors, but we see that people, we can't just we wouldn't feel I guess satisfied with our day-to-day life, our entire life, not sharing this information, not being able to share it to everybody, and allowing people that want to put the work in, that want to make this change in their life, that want to have generational wealth, to be allowed to do so. And this information should be allowed for everybody. This should be available for everybody. But they don't teach us stuff at school. They don't teach us stuff anywhere else. You're not going to find this information on the internet. You can go research it. It's not going to tell you how to do this. It's not going to give you the ins and outs. This is the kind of mindset that people really have to understand, that it's really on those people that know, and that's it. If you don't know, then you don't know.
Yeah, this is some breakthrough shit. And the thing that I like is I've never been in such a good place to be able to change so many people's lives. That's what I'm thinking about. I was literally just thinking about, I'm just going to spend 8 hours a day fucking going hard, making people realize this stuff, opening people's minds, opening people's eyes to the possibilities that they could be living, instead of everybody, cowering and living a small, stupid life. There's a lot more opportunity out there, and it takes risk. Maybe not a lot of people want risk. Maybe a lot of people want to have that comfortable salary but hate their job and then stay stuck for the rest of their lives. Maybe not everybody's meant to be an entrepreneur, and that's fine. But for the few people that do, there's opportunity.
I agree with you, and the thing is, we're blessed to be in the position that we're in, Robert. I'm blessed to have what I have, and I'm blessed to be where I'm at. And I even regardless, working hard got you to where you are, and working hard got me where I'm at. But we're blessed in that sense. We're in a position to make this opportunity and help people. So I'm more than happy to help people, and that's what excites me about Credit Leverage X, is that we're going to be able to help and change a lot of people's lives. So that's what really drives me, and that's why this is my drive and my ambition and my inspiration to do this. I want to say, in working 9 to 5. Let me give people a kind of piece of reality. You can work 9 to 5, have a career. Let's say you went to school. I went to school. I got 2 masters. I have a master's in engineering, master's in business. You can go and work at a company. What scared me the most, Robert, is the fact that when I was working as an engineer or professional, let's say blue, they call like white collar professionals, right? These individuals, I would expect them to be, pretty well off, have a good, decent life, have a place to live, and things like that. But when I would talk to some of these people, they were still struggling. And what happened, they have kids now. They're depending on the job even more. Some have pensions, some didn't have pensions because they cut pensions, at a certain year. You didn't get a pension. I'm like, man, these guys are like, there's no like retirement plan here. And some people that work for the city, they may have pensions, but they're still depending on the pensions. They're still hoping that one day in 25 years from now, the county of LA or whatever, whatever county you're in is going to help pay you for your retirement fund. And God willingly, you get that payment, and God willingly, you're able to, being taken care of when you're old. But let me tell you this, a lot of people that were in their older age, in their 40s and 50s, that were professional working, went to school, got a degree, just like I have, were getting fired. We're getting laid off. Because you know why? Because they're paying too much. They're paying these people too much. So why would they pay you, who's been working for 20, 30 years? Doesn't matter how much knowledge you have. You're old school. You no longer, your information is already old. They got new young blood coming out of college, 20, 21-year-olds that want to eat really, really bad and are really hungry. And they're going to come in the game and they're going to do twice as much work as you are. And get paid half of what you get paid. So that's the reality. And the reality is that whenever a businessman or a business owner or a corporation controls an entity, that they control the business model, they will do what's best for the business. They will do what's best for the county. They will do what's best for the overall cost. Overall cost means eliminate people that have already been working. They're costing us too much. Force them to retire. Force them to retire. And once they're forced to retire, they're going to be like, well, this is not enough money.
Right.
Well, you should have thought about that, right? And then you're gonna do well. Your pension, is giving you only so much. Your Social Security is only giving you so much. So essentially, this is the reality that scared me and forced me to realize I need to create my own retirement plan. I can't depend
Right.
on others. I can't depend on anyone. I don't want to depend. I never wanted to depend, but I had to really become that self-dependent individual. I really had to think like, if I didn't make money, if I didn't do what I had to do, and I didn't work hard enough or harder than others, if I didn't outwork others, I would not be where I'm at right now.
Yeah. And then also like the whole world is kind of going global. So like there's going to be a lot more companies that just hire people overseas that are going to work for way cheaper than they're paying a lot of these, people that are making decent money. It's pretty
You forgot
interesting.
about AI. AI is coming in, bro. Engineering,
Yeah,
forget
AI is
it.
taking
Software
everything.
programming. If you wrote code, you are no longer gonna have a job. Like literally, like
I know. That's crazy to think about.
Programming is going away. Like if you use the program, the only reason an engineer will need a job or a scientist or whoever needs a job is to have human eyes look at a certain thing because of a problem that exists. How many people do you need looking at the same thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the reality, and I realized that unfortunately, fairly quickly earlier on when I started seeing that people were losing their jobs. So that's what made me kind of worrisome about it. But I felt like I had to create my own, my own path, my own retirement, my own, control. I wanted to be in control. I did not want others to control my life, and that's what mattered the most. So if you want to control your life, and you don't want others to control your life, you need to take this opportunity and learn from the best and those that are doing it. And I was, I'm not saying I'm the best, but I'm saying I'm doing it. So if you want to learn how to do it, and we'll learn from us, we're here to help you, and we want you to get that same opportunities, and at least start making those changes. At least we're not saying quit your job. Keep your job if you like your job, but keep it as long as it's there. To be honest, as long as the job is there, you can keep it. But if you can do other things, you can make money, and then you can start seeing the light. Because I always see the light. When you see the light coming in, like, oh man, I'm making money somewhere else now, and I'm not having to depend on this income anymore. Or I just gave myself a raise. I would give myself, like a 15% raise annually because I bought real estate. People that were working for an engineering job, they would give themselves 3%, and they would sit there. Oh, I got my 3%. I got my 2.5%.
There's different
I'm like,
games.
dude, I gave myself $1,000 raise a month. What did you give yourself? Oh, I got like $250 a month. I'm like, what is that? Coffee? It's like, I call it a Starbucks raise.
Yeah.
So that was always my joke. Oh, you got yourself a Starbucks raise. You can go get yourself a Starbucks every day now.
3%. Hey, Starbucks is too expensive now, man. I don't even know.
Yeah, it's no longer Starbucks, bro. You got to go to 7-Eleven.
Yeah, exactly. Go get some gas station coffee. You're screwed, man. That's funny.
It's funny, but it's also sad, right? So at the end of the day, like we're here to make that that change. And this is our first call, and I'm excited for everybody that's on this call, that's listening to us. To really think about this and think about what you really want in your life. So will help us help you make that happen.
So anybody's watching, we are going to start going live every single week. I believe it's going to be like Wednesdays at 12. I mean, that's what I have on Wednesdays at 12 Pacific time. I think that's pretty much when me and Gino are going to schedule in. We'll go live every week. We're going to promote the next one. This is kind of just an introduction. We're going to spit more game and give you guys some more real knowledge. We kind of like laid out the scenario of what's going on in the world. Now we're going to teach you, how to start doing some things, how to start changing your life. For more information, go to creditleveragex.com. Check out, the Lion Show podcast as well. We've got quite a few episodes on there. And then, if you need your credit fixed, if you're looking to get access to funding, or if you want coaching for anything, feel free to reach out to me or Gino, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.